Before I get to my lovely friends, former colleagues, and talented podcast hosts, yes, believe it. Well, Billy's not a podcast host yet. He's a super smart and intelligent Nets expert or Netspert. He contributes often to Evan Roberts' philosophies on the Nets and NBA philosophies and basketball in general. Billy is a modest, humble, cool cat that sits in the wings and just studies people and is just extremely wise, super intelligent, uber intelligent. And whenever he speaks, you should listen. He's a humble guy. He's got a lot to say if you really want to hear it. But if you don't, Billy won't push his words on you. He's just super cool guy. And Mike Biseglia from the Mike Delivers Pod. Mike's getting a little bougie now. He's blowing up. You know, his articles are being quoted in Toronto, in Canada, and England, and Yahoo Sports because of his recent interview with Dean Blandino. And we'll get into that more. Mike's a fabulous guy. I joke about him being bougie, and we'll see. We'll see if he responds to the text in the future once this show is just ginormous. But Mike's the man, and we'll talk to them in a couple minutes. But I wanted to talk to you guys, the Octagon audience, and my friends and family who tune into this. I don't think I've said this on the air or on a roll or on a recording episode, but I'm a huge believer that the duties of oneself is to better themselves than the last generation. Think about that for a second. The duties of oneself is to better themselves than the last generation, and on so and on forth. I think that's how it goes. My father, an immigrant to this country, an Israeli native, came to this country in the 80s. I think he's extremely smart. I think he's well spoken. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's adapted to the culture fantastically while keeping his Israeli sternness and strength and wits about him. He's an electrician. He is a supervising electrician. He is a owner of a electrical company. He's a widely successful company in the New York and Long Island area. He's the most talented and hardest working electrician I've ever seen. And he has a passion for what he does, and he's extremely talented at what he does. And it shows in his work and the way he carries himself and how much he commits and devotes to a job or a blueprint or a phone call or a supply house run. Everything he does is just full commitment. He loves his job, and it's not work for him. It's work for me and my brother whenever we do work for him. It's more than work. I feel like the Egyptians with the pyramids sometimes. I'm just kidding, Abba. I'm just kidding. Have a sense of humor. Okay, I'm just kidding. But he paid the path easier for me. His sacrifice, his labor, with his own two hands, literally, made it easier for me and my brother to go to college, be the party guys, be in the scene, play college sports, work at CBS radio. Everything my father did made it easier for me. And my dreams are more obtainable. Say my father wanted to be a movie star and he came to this country and he's an electrician. I'm sure he wouldn't be happy and he would lament every day in work and express his stresses and not fully be happy in what he does, but thank God he likes being an electrician and he really commits to every day of work and every day of life. He has a smile on his face. But say he didn't achieve his dream. Would he still work as hard to provide an easier future for his young and his offspring and his kids? I'm sure he would. Thank God he found his passion, which is electrical work. And he made the path a lot easier for me. And I was able to obtain my career. If I was in his position, I probably wouldn't be happy being an electrician. I love radio and podcasts and the theater of the mind with audio. Obviously, we're doing video because we got to keep up with the fad. It makes me comb my hair and throw some water on my face before I do this instead of just rolling into a studio with a sweatshirt and just no shaved and pimples all over. So my point is, I'm allowed to be free and loose in this medium because my father made the path easier. And I'm a big believer in each generation making their life a life goal to make the next generation easier and progress more than they did and reach a higher level of success. In the back of my mind, yeah, sure, it'd be cool to be a professional athlete and travel and play sports in front of a huge audience, but my generation, I'm not ready for that. I'm very content and satisfied with where I am and excited to do what I'm doing. Yeah, I still participate in martial arts competitions and physical competitions as much as I can. But if my son or daughter wanted to be a professional athlete, the road will be paved a lot easier. Not only because I'll tell them to avoid stupid and annoying media members and how to answer their questions, but I will have more advice for them. I can relate more to the problems and the issues they might feel. And maybe I'm not explaining this well. Again, I'm probably going on a huge long tangent, but listen to somebody who probably can explain this well, who's a lot more seasoned, who's a lot more experienced, who's seen a lot more things. Kevin Hart joined the Joe Rogan Experience, and Kevin Hart just put the nail on the head and explained exactly what I've been trying to say off air. As you could tell, I've never explained this on air, and it's just, I never knew how. I thought I'd rub people the wrong way, or they'd look at me sideways or think I'm nuts for saying that our job is to make the next generation better. It was harder for my father and my mother, but it's easier for me, and it will be easier for the next generation. You always hear these kids, oh, my iPad doesn't work and I can't. And it's like, that issue for me wasn't an issue because I didn't grow up with an iPad or Zoom or all these issues that these kids get overwhelming anxiety over, that they can't download a video, the stream is buffering. For me, that's like, you guys are weak. For my father, he looks at me, oh, you're having trouble talking on a podcast or getting a guest or trying to take your audio career to the next level. Like, for him, he's like, oh, that's easy, and so on and so forth. That's how it goes with the generations. But listen to Kevin Hart on the Joe Rogan Experience explaining this a lot better. Thank you, Kevin.
I think that's what life should be about.
Yes.
If as adults, we have a job to do. Whether you want to admit it or not, your job is to set up the next generation. That's our job. Whether you want to fucking admit it or not. It's your kids. It's your friends, it's whomever. You're supposed to live a certain way, do certain things to set up for the next generation to come and to be able to do better. If you don't, then you're not doing your part. And if the world never fucking grows, you got to raise your hand and be responsible. Because you're a part of the lag.
Yeah.
You're part of the delay. If we look up in 15, 20 years and we're in the same spot, well, that means that our fucking groundbreakers that was doing all the shit during that 15, 20 years never shared the information so that these new people could come through and break new ground.
Yeah.
Yes. Nailed it. Thank you, Kevin Hart. I will download and subscribe to anything you got going now because you just drilled my point home. Thank you, brother. Thank you. It's what we should do. Our kids should have it easier for us. We should have it easier than our parents. sorry, Dad, I got to do the octagon right now. And it's going to be like, go to your travel teams, go do your little third generation easiness, kid. Go run off. Because that's how it's going to be. It's tougher for them. It's easier for them.